Chief Meteorologist George Myers joining me now. George, over the last 20 years that I've worked with you, we have seen a lot of severe weather events.
We certainly have.
But three, you have to come up with three of the best ones that we've seen so far.
And, we've had so many, but one that comes to mind was back in 1998. We had one of our first really big major tornado outbreaks in many decades when about a half dozen tornadoes crossed Strom Thurmond Clarks Hill Lake from Lincoln County to McCormick and Edgefield. Trees down, highways blocked, homes destroyed, many folks' lives impacted by that. And we were in the air for many hours. And I know you risked life and limb that night to get reports out from that site.
That was my first night covering severe weather duty and was told to get in the truck and travel to Lincoln County around the lake. We got locked in because trees had fallen in. After the second tornado came in, I had a brand new suit. I had to stay on location until 9 a.m. the next morning. And that suit, when I got home, the suit was just in the trash.
And you broke every rule in the book. John put up a 40-foot antenna that night, mast, to do a live shot during a lightning storm. And lightning is attracted to tall objects, as you remember. But you got the report out.
All right, gracious. Let's move on to number two.
Number two, the flood of 1990. We had two tropical storms that stalled over the area. And they dropped 15 to 18 inches of rain in 24 hours. And roads were washed out, homes washed and flooded away, and businesses, even railroad tracks. And at one point, city officials thought the Savannah River was going to come out of its banks and flood the city. And you'll probably remember they were barricading Riverwalk Augusta just in case the river came out.
I remember the picture of the guy sitting on the roof of his car with the umbrella.
That's right.
Waiting to be rescued.
George Escala was there with his photographer Troy Robinson, and the water was rising, I think, on Boy Scout Road and trapped him. And George asked him after he was rescued, "Were you ever scared?" And the gentleman said, "Only when the snakes began to swim into my car." So the flood of 1990 affected everybody here.
All right. I think we know the big one, the number one, but go ahead and tell us.
The ice storm of 2014, don't you think, folks? We were ground zero for that ice storm.
We were camped here for a while.
And all roads iced up. Nobody could go anywhere. Schools closed, businesses closed, power out, not just for days, but for weeks for some people. And as John said, many of us were trapped here at the station for 3 days. And I slept in one of the conference room, and Jenny had her family in an edit bay. And one of the scariest things was seeing your coworkers for the first time as they woke up in the morning. That's how to get used to that.
Looking for coffee and breakfast.
That's right.
I had never seen ice that thick here in the viewing area. It was an inch thick, covered everything. And when we heard that Jim Cantore from the Weather Channel was down at Riverwalk Augusta, we knew we were in trouble that day. Batten down the hatches.
And we did wrap it up with a earthquake.
An earthquake finally there.
That's right.
All right, thanks again, George. That's a look at George Myers' top 3 severe weather events.